the League of Women Voters of the Montclair area. I'm pleased to welcome you to our candidate event for Roseland Borough Council. My name is Donna Ward and I'll be your moderator tonight. The League, as a nonpartisan organization, never supports or opposes political parties or candidates. Partnering with the League in presenting this forum, we welcome the Progress newspaper and thank Kathy Swift, the editor of the Progress, for inviting us to participate, and her staff. Hi, staff. This forum is being recorded and will be available on our League website, lwbmontclairarea.org, or on our YouTube channel. We encourage the sharing of the League's recording of this event in its entirety, but do not allow editing or making public any excerpts from the recording. The League name, logo, event recording, or any materials from the event cannot be used in a way that could lead a viewer or reader to infer League support or opposition to a candidacy. Our format for tonight is we're talking about 4 candidates for 2 seats for 3-year terms on the Roseland Borough Council, and that will be decided in November. The candidates are John Barant, Robert Nichols, Jean Parati, and Marcelino Moose Trillo. Our format is that each candidate will be able to give a 2-minute opening and closing statement. We'll then go into questions and answers. Each candidate will have 1 minute to answer. We'll also allow all candidates to give a 30-second rebuttal after each candidate has answered the question. The timer will hold up a card warning you when you have 30 seconds left, and then a red card or a card when your time is out. So we're going to start alphabetically. So let's have an opening statement from John Barant.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is John Barant, running for Town Council. I guess I'll go a little bit over my bio. So I have a Bachelor's of Engineering and a Master's of Engineering from NJIT, both in civil engineering with a focus on transportation. I've been in public service my entire professional career. I first worked for the Port Authority of New York, New Jersey. Then I worked for the Turnpike Authority of New Jersey. Just left there last year, and currently, actually both of those positions, I was a traffic engineer. Currently the Assistant Township Engineer in Montville Township, and I feel that my professional experience will definitely be beneficial to the Township of Roseland if I were to be on council. I have 3 sons who go to Noecker, Brody, Ryder, and Gavin, ages 9, 7, and 4. Actively involved in the town. I coach soccer, baseball, and basketball. The past 6 years I've been coaching with the rec department. Actively involved with Ralph's brother and Mike Liddy, volunteering both as a head coach and assistant coach. And I'm looking to continue doing the same things that current council has been doing a great job with. So like I said, if I join the council, I'll be the new guy. I know you got to learn on the job, but I'm hoping to hit the ground running. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Nichols.
Hey everybody, my name is Rob Nichols, and I've been in Roseland for 2 years. Right now, I am a volunteer coach. I coach baseball, soccer, and basketball. I am a part owner in an industrial distribution company. Recently engaged, getting married next June, and I want to get back to the community. This is why I'm running. The council now, I think I would be a great addition and a great vision for them, and to help everybody out in the town and their residents.
Thank you. Ms. Parati.
Hi, I'm Council President Jean Parati. I'll give you a little bio. I've been in town for 33 years. I have 2 sons, Frank and Anthony, and my husband Frank. My husband Frank has been here since 1979, so we have long-standing roots in the community. I served on the Noecker PTA throughout my kids' school career. I was the president of the HSA, and oh my gosh, there's just so much. So I've just been in town for a long time. I've served on the council to give back to the community. I've always volunteered, and I think we've done a really good job on the council to make the best decisions for the community. It's been a challenging 3 years with COVID, like the mayor said, but I think we've really all done a good job, and I really want to see that through and run for the next 3 years.
Thank you. Mr. Trillo?
Hi, everybody. Bruce Trillo, current councilman. Just finishing up my first term, hoping to get a second term. As far as my qualifications, I'm a 16-year resident. I have 3 kids in the schools, 2 at Noacker, 1 at West Essex. Reason for running, the same reasons I ran 3 years ago, just to be a positive impact on the community, be an example to the kids I coach, and to my own kids, about, just doing what you have to do in terms of civic duty and being present in your community. It's not always perfect. I try my best. I have a little bit of a mean streak sometimes. I could be a little, but I do try to serve the best I can. I do try to help the community as much as I can. I also coach everything. I also coach football, which is West Essex, not Roseland. I know Frank has some experience coaching football as well. But just trying to be a part of the community, trying to keep everyone proud of Roseland, and keep the progress going that we've accomplished the last 3 years. Because it's been a tough 3 years, and we've managed to get lots of things done, but there's some things that we're still working on that I'd like to see through to the end. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Trillo. Okay, let's now start with the first question. For the 2 incumbents, why did you vote to install a civilian police director rather than appoint a new police chief? Ms. Bride?
After I've been part of the public safety since I started on the council, and when Chief McDonough left, we had an officer in charge that we had running the police department. And the council and I just didn't feel that he was doing the job that we wanted him to do. So we do feel that we have a lot of talent on our police force, but they need to be groomed. It takes time. So right now, we felt the best possible choice to make was to appoint Director Mathias. He's a pillar of the community. He is a retired captain. We felt that he could get everything in the right direction and groom those men or women to be police chief.
Thank you. Mr. Trillo?
Pretty much echoing what Jeannie said. No hard feelings. The officer in charge was not the person that we envisioned being the chief of police in Roseland. We didn't think he had the right personality or had the fit that we're looking for our community. When we looked for a police director, we were very lucky that Captain Mathias came on board. He's a perfect candidate, and we know that we're in good hands with him, and he will oversee what's going on with the police force, which there was no giant problems going on with the police force besides, a lot of paperwork stuff, a lot of, having compliance issues, that sort of thing. Captain Mathias has been doing this kind of work for a long time, so he knows what he's doing. He's in good hands. He's a member of the community, which is the most important part. The previous person was not a member of the community more than having a job in the community. So I think we all felt the same way, and we're happy with where we are now.
Thank you. For the 2 non-incumbents now, Mr. Braun and Mr. Nichols, how would you have voted on the ordinance to install a civilian police director rather than appoint a new police chief? Mr. Braun?
I probably would have gone along with the current council and how they voted. I would have leaned on their opinions, especially being somebody new to council. I would definitely lean on the opinion of the mayor, seeing his political background, or his professional background as well, to kind of gain his expertise and his knowledge, and kind of pick his brain to see what he would think. Because I respect him, and also he's got a lot of experience. So I probably would vote the same way.
Mr. Nichols?
Yeah, I think I would have went the same way. I have all the faith that they made the right decision. And after coming to a few of the council meetings and learning about what was going on, you really saw that things weren't the way that it needed to be for the community. And residents are always the first thing. And I think they made a great choice by putting Director Mathias in there. They gave him a great job. I think he's already done a great job. And I think that's what's best for the community, and the community is what matters the most, and I feel like they made the right choice for the community.
Thank you. Any rebuttals? Yes, Mr. Trillo.
It's not really a rebuttal, I'm not like, but I just wanna add on. We are, on the council, we were all on the same page that we want a chief eventually. We just didn't think that the person that was there wasn't the person for the job. And Captain knows that, you know, that's part of his task, is to find someone that can be the next chief.
Okay. Any other comments?
You always beat me to it, but I thought,
That's okay.
I thought the same thing. You know, we're all in agreement, which was a good thing. I mean, not that anybody was in any way, shape, or form in danger, but it just wasn't the right fit, and we all were we were all in agreement.
Thank you. Next question. Do you favor continuing Roseland's lawsuit against Caldwell over the sewer treatment plant? How many of you are willing to pay for legal services to pursue it? We'll start with Ms. Barati.
Yes. The answer to that question is yes, because our forefathers had the great forethought to have Roseland be metered. So we know what's going through that system. You can't just change up the way you want to bill us because nobody else is metered. So I feel that it's our right, and at the end of the day, it'll save the taxpayers money if this suit goes forward.
Thank you. Mr. Trillo.
Again, I agree with Jeannie, absolutely. I think that we are in the right, 1,000%. I don't think that there's any reason to believe that Caldwell has anything on their side that shows that they've acted in good faith or goodwill or anything like that. But like Jeannie said, we're metered, we know what we should pay, we agreed to a price. I don't understand how that changes and that's okay with them, but that's their issue, I think. So yeah, we're willing to fight that one to the end, I think.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Barati.
I'll keep it short. Yes, I agree as well. This is America. You pay for what you get, right? Period.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Nichols.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo like everybody said. I agree. You know, but John said, you know, we're doing the right thing. We did the right thing, and you know, keep fighting for what's right and what's right for the residents. And you know, we're metered for a reason, and you know that should show right there. I mean, so we're gonna keep going until it's finished.
Okay, doesn't sound like we need any rebuttals on
Mm.
this.
No.
Remarkably in agreement. Okay, moving on. Were Roseland officials right to spend what they have on recreational facilities? Is there a better use for some or all of that money? Mr. Nichols.
So I agree. I think that they are right spending the money on it. You know, the kids are the generation, you know, or the next generation. You know, we want to make sure we have everything for the kids. You know, and I think that, you know, a great recreation department and a great, you know, field and whatever's going to come in the future. I think it's the right choice. I think, you know, it's what's best for everybody. You know, maybe we'd like to see a community center at one point. But we're on the right start. I think it's the right direction, and I'm 100% for it.
Thank you. Ms. Barati.
Our parks, again, I've been here for 33 years, so our parks haven't been touched in well over 20 years. You can't just let them go and become wasteful and deteriorate, because once they get to a point of no return, then it's gonna cost you 3 times the amount of money to repair them, to redo them. I think it was the best decision. We made a pledge that we would redo our park system, and we're doing it. And it brings a sense of community. When the parks are there, when you can see kids in that park and their parents, and you can talk and you can socialize, that's what Roseland's about. It's about community. And that's the focal point of this town, and that's why I think it's so important to spend the money on the recreation facilities.
Thank you. Mr. Trillo.
It's kind of an unfair question for me. I'm a rec guy, and I would say put more money into recreation and facilities and better programs, more of them, better quality, more quantity. I think that's one of the biggest accomplishments that this council's had, at least for the 3 years that I've been here. The sense of community that's grown, not that it was not good, but it's so much stronger now than it was 3 years ago, just from all the new activities that we have, and all the resources that we're putting towards it, and all the effort. Most of the resources are not financial. It's built on the back of a lot of the volunteers that help, all the parents that come out and coach, and the people that have been here in the community long enough know that it's not the money that builds it. But you want to get a big field, you want to get a big building, you want to get a community center, you got to get some money behind that. And all that adds to the community and has all kinds of benefits for property value, and just, a ton of things that makes Roseland a more desirable place to live for everybody. So I'm all for it.
And we also try to use grant money and stuff like that, so it's not such a burden to the.
Mr. Brown?
I agree as well. I think we should spend as much money as we could on the rec department. Professionally speaking, I work in Montville Township. I've been reviewing a new community center that they're planning to build there, a new field house they're planning to build there, and residents are all for it in that town. I can see Roseland doing the same type of thing here. With regards to just me personally, I've been involved, I've been in the town for 14 years. I was playing men's softball for 10 years. I know on Friday nights it's happening out there. It's awesome. On a Friday night, you got kickball, you got soccer fields, and you got a ton of kids hanging out on the playgrounds. Parents are there. It was amazing last Friday night, or two Fridays ago when I was out there. I was astonished how many people are out there just enjoying themselves on a beautiful September night. Families, kids of all ages playing, parents on the fields, not trying not to pull their hamstrings. But it was a great time. So I think we should definitely invest in the fields and recreation department as much as possible.
Very good. Any other, I think there's pretty much agreement on this too, so any rebuttals or, yeah?
Well, I think Jeannie started to bring it up. Sorry,
Yeah,
Rob.
sorry, go ahead.
Jeannie brought it up too. I mean, I know that spending the money spent, but all the money that's been spent and all the reasons that, all the resources that have been added in facilities and all that, it hasn't resulted in a large increase to the taxpayers at all. We've been very responsible about keeping the growth of property taxes very low. I'll also chime in that the county has done a great job keeping their levels of taxes low and helping us to maintain what are, the most affordable, one of the most affordable tax bases in all of Essex County.
Any other comments?
No, I was gonna add on that and just say that, like everybody said, it's great to bring everybody together, and I think with the upgrade on everything and seeing everybody together, it makes Roseland stronger as a community.
Thank you. Moving on. Between the PFAS detected in Essex Fells and the Caldwell sewer system being at capacity and in litigation with Roseland, do we need to take steps to protect our water infrastructure? Mr. Trillo?
Yes, I think it's one of the big things on our plate going forward. I don't want to say drama, but the issues that we've had around water the last several years. It's a major infrastructure project that we're going to have to undertake in the very near future. We're working on the water tower system now. We've been working on it, it seems like, for a year and a half at least. But there's a lot of moving pieces there. Essex Fells has proven to be a good partner. They came and spoke to us, they explained to us, and I think they're on the same page and willing to work with us. And I think that we'll get there. What we do to solve it, I don't know exactly what that solution is, but I think we can get to a solution that works for everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
So I'll talk to my professional experience again. So I work in the engineering department. We don't really do water and sewer all that much, but that's the next department over from me, and I deal with them on a day-to-day basis on various jobs and things like that. So I know I can lean on them when I have questions and things like that. So I agree. I think Roseland needs to look at that going forward. I have experience in it. I know people in the field who have experience in it, and it definitely can be beneficial for me to be on the council to help make those decisions in the future.
Mr. Nichols?
Yeah, I agree on that as well. Like Councilman Moose said, we gotta do something. We're gonna do something, quick about it. He said Roseland's been a great, Essex Fells has been a great partner, and I think we need to keep that going so we can figure this out.
Ms. Brody?
Like Councilman Trillo said, Essex Fells has been a great partner with the PSFAs. They have taken steps to ensure that the water that we get has now, those numbers have gone down. But you have to understand something, the state decided to change the number midstream. What was right at one point, all of a sudden, 6 months later, wasn't. So Essex Fells has taken the steps. They do keep us informed all the time. The infrastructure is one thing that's very important to all of us, and we are working on water tank and maintaining the water tank and possibly getting another one. So yes, we are well aware of what we need to do, and we are taking the steps to do it.
Thank you. Any rebuttals or further final comments? Okay. Then let's move on. Any thoughts on the state of Roseland's COH obligations, the planned housing developments and their possible impact on our school and roads? We'll start with Ms. Bryan.
We have, it's dictated by the state, so there's really not much we can do about it. We can just make the right decision on where they go and how they're limited, and making sure that we have especially housing in those units for senior citizens, which we've taken the steps to make sure we've done that. You know, we can only do what we can do. I mean, it's something that's handed down to us, and they haven't even built from our last round. So, and we have no idea based on the water sewer when they're gonna be built. So it's just a sit and wait kind of thing. And, you know, we just make the right decisions that we put them in the right spots.
Mr. Nichols?
Yeah, I mean, everything she said is correct, you know, it's handed down by the state, but, you know, in Roseland, we're gonna make sure we do the right thing, to make sure it works out where they go, for the seniors. You know, we gotta make sure we do the right thing and you know, I think we can all work together and do the right thing so that, you know, it helps everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Brown?
Every single municipality of the state is dealing with this. Roseland's no different. Our current council is doing a great job. And from my professional experience again in Montville, they're dealing with it as well. There are, I think, 4 large luxury development condos and apartments that are going in that I have to go out and inspect, on a weekly basis. And yeah, you have low-income housing in some of them, and you have all different requirements that need to be met. And every town is dealing with it. Roseland's no different. So I know people get upset about this situation. It's a hot, it's a hot issue. But as long as people rationally try to pick the right locations, try to make as less of an impact on developments. You want to make, you don't want to put a luxury, large apartment building next to single-family homes, things like that. That's the reason that you have different, different zoning requirements and everything. So, again, I think the council's doing a great job, and let's continue on that path.
Thank you. Mr. Trillo?
So it's a challenge, and when I came into office, it was kind of the hot button thing. It was all going on, and the water kind of slowed things down. So, like Jeannie mentioned, we're kind of in a wait and see game. I think we're kind of happy that we've been able to wait this long and kind of push it off as long as we could possibly push it off. Some things kind of fell the right way. Am I worried about the impact it could have? Sure, I'm worried about it. Under Mayor Spango's leadership, we met with the Noecker School Board and the administration to discuss what that would look like for the school, or what it could look like for the school, and go over projected numbers and different professionals that projected how it would work out. But the plan, most of that plan was done before I was here, and it looks like they planned it out very well. A lot of 1- and 2-bedroom apartments, meeting our affordable housing requirements. The biggest concern is the traffic, but really more for the Harrison Ave development. The stuff on Becker Farm Road, I'm not quite as worried about because it's got a quick exit to 280. I don't think it will necessarily affect the heart of the town. But we deal with traffic issues now on Lincoln Avenue and on Cortland and on Harrison, especially as a cut through. And I think it's a challenge that as a community, we can come together and figure out. I don't know what the solution is, but I think that by hearing everyone out and figuring out what everyone is worried about, we can come to a solution that keeps the Roseland a great community.
Thank you. Any rebuttals or final comments on this?
I think,
Brian, yes.
I think as Moose said, the impact to the school by us being able to limit the amount of 3 bedrooms, it tries to lessen the impact on the school district. And I think that's what we were able to negotiate, and that's what you really have to think about. So at the end of the day, the more 1 and 2s we put in, the better off we were. But it's a tough situation.
Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. How about a broader question? What do you see as the borough's biggest challenges over the next few years? Let's start with Mr. Brown.
Thanks for the question. I get to go first. biggest challenge over the next few years, obviously all the new developments going in, the water issue as well. Those are the two hot button topics that seem to be in the news right now. I can see those, continuing on for a while. They're not gonna go away anytime soon, so I see that those be the largest issues. If I were involved, obviously I would like to get more recreational facilities, as we discussed earlier, get that put in place. Those are pretty much the three that I can think of off the top of my head.
Thank you. Mr. Trillo?
Echoing, like you said, the water issue is big, the COA issue is large. I also think the volunteerism and just driving the numbers up to have more volunteers, especially with OEM, fire, and first aid squad. Any time we get more volunteers, the better off the community is going to be. In this town, we're small, but we're strong. We have people who volunteer in all capacities. People, Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, fire, at the church. It's what makes the community strong. And if we're strong together, we can overcome any of the challenges that present themselves with water, or housing, or anything else that rears its head.
Thank you. Mr. Nichols?
Yeah, it's, yeah, I would think it'd be the housing, and the water, and like, Moose was saying, the volunteers, the more people we get out for, fire, OEM, first aid, the stronger we become, and, even stronger than we are. And I think that, I know it's been a challenge recently to get people out there to volunteer for it. But I think we're gonna be able to, and I think that we can make this, town as strong as could be.
Thank you. Ms. Bride?
Like Councilman Trillo, I think the infrastructure is our biggest concern, and that's something that we're gonna have to work on moving forward with water and sewer. Make sure we replace and redo. I mean, that I think is the main issue. The volunteerism has been an issue since the beginning of COVID, and it's a national problem. And, we do whatever we can to try and get volunteers. We go to meetings, OEM and fire, and it's just not us, it's nationally. And listen, I would listen to anybody if they had any ideas on how to get more volunteers. I mean, we've run the gamut and we can't make it happen. But I think the main issue would be the infrastructure. That is something that we look forward to redoing.
Great. Thank you. Any rebuttals or final other comments? Okay. Past council meetings have been attended by residents complaining of sharp rent increases, especially from older residents on fixed incomes. Do you believe they're getting the support they need? Do you believe rental caps or rent stabilization is the way to go? Let's start with Mr. Nichols.
Sure. So I don't know much about the topic, but I will say that I believe that, especially for seniors, that, rent caps should be there. You gotta remember, a lot of them are on Social Security, and, they're not getting raises every year like, most people. So I think that, it should be capped, and, do anything you could to help.
Thank you. Ms. Bride?
The council last year or 2 years ago passed an ordinance. We can only control one unit, and that's the Everly for rent caps. So we did our due diligence, and thanks to Mayor Spango and many meetings that he had, we were able to put in our ordinance and have them try to follow that. We can support them, we can listen to them, we can try and go to the owners, but we can only try. We can only be their mouthpiece and try and help them. But we did pass an ordinance for that. So,
Mr. Trillo?
Agreed. We had that 3.5%? 3.5% cap in Mount Hill, and they've honored that, and we're talking to them to see if we can get them to honor that for everybody, not just seniors. The lawyers are working on things to see where we can end up, but I am in favor, especially for seniors, but for everybody who's in a rental unit, to have some kind of rent control, some kind of mitigation strategy, because Roseland is a diverse town. We have all kinds here, so we need all kinds of people to be able to live here. And $4,500 in rent isn't doable for a lot of people. Even people who are making great salaries, not people who are on fixed incomes and anything else. So I think that's part of our obligation to look out for everybody that lives in town.
Thank you. Mr. Braun?
I'm going to echo everyone's sentiments. Over the past couple months, just getting to meet the council members and work with them, speaking with Councilman Trillo, Councilman Barty, Mayor Spango, discussing these topics, learning about the issues. I agree with everything that they've done to this point, passing ordinances, trying to keep the percentages lower so that the people on fixed incomes can't afford their rents. But again, I think the council's done a great job looking ahead, trying to help as many people out as they could.
Any other comments? Our area has had an increase in opportunistic car theft during the past few years. Do you feel as safe in town as you did a few years ago? Mr. Braun?
Yes, I do. I have a couple of family members who are in law enforcement, and they've told me, not just our town, but neighboring towns as well. For the most part, stolen vehicle thefts and attempted thefts have remained pretty much level. The issue is nowadays people have Ring cameras and they see it. And they post it on social media, and they post it and they share it with their resident, with their neighbors and things like that. So I think it's pretty much always been there. It's just people didn't notice it when somebody tried to break into the car, try to open the car handle, and they walk away without doing anything. Now you see your neighbors say, oh, these people were in my driveway, and they attempted to unlock the car doors, and nothing happened. But now that attempt is visible, and people are freaking out for it. So I think it's always been there. I wouldn't say it's paranoia. It's obviously maybe an increase of some sort, but for the most part, I think it's always been prevalent. And now it's just because social media is more out there.
Mr. Nichols?
Yeah, 100%. I feel, just as safe as I did 2 years ago, and up until I know it's gotten. I don't know if I want to say worse, but I know it's gotten more recently. We just gotta remember to make sure we take our key fobs inside, make sure we lock our doors, make sure we stay smart. And like John said, nowadays everybody has the Ring camera. If you see something, say something. Make sure everybody around you knows. And the police department has been doing a great job so far with it. And I continue. I bet they'll probably continue to do such a great job.
Thank you. Ms. Brody?
Yes, I do feel safe. We have taken steps by going to the Pittman schedule in January. We put another officer on the road and at night. So the borough has taken steps to keep everyone safe. We went to the Pittman schedule. We are going to do shared services with West Caldwell for dispatch, which will now allow us to have another officer on the road. So I think we hear the concerns. I'm not concerned. I feel safe, but we have taken the steps to ensure everybody's safety. And I'm just going to say one thing. Please don't leave your key fob in your car. Please.
Thank you. Mr. Trillo?
I feel as safe as ever. I feel like I've heard less about it. I don't know if it's necessarily gone down. I feel like maybe, knock on wood, that it's been a little lighter lately. I don't know if they're just scared of cap now. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like it's going well. Part of it is geography, and we've talked about this. We have easy access to 280. It's an easy place to try and take a car out of someone's driveway and be on the highway and be gone in 15 minutes, and no one knows anything about it. That being said, we have Mayor Spango, who we know is in law enforcement, works very closely with not just the law enforcement here, but he put together a task force with all of West Essex and other surrounding towns. And I think we've done our best to try and curb it as much as possible, but it's, like John was saying, something that's going on everywhere. It's not just here, but I think we've taken the proper steps to remediate the situation as much as possible.
Any final comments? Residents of Lincoln Street have frequently complained about the amount of traffic past their houses. Do you see any long-term solutions for those residents? Mr. Trillo?
The only long-term solution that I could envision would involve somehow having another road go through, or we did everything we could. We got it off of Google Maps to not be the cut through, which took forever. We talked about speed bumps, but not all the residents on the street want speed bumps. Some do, some don't. We put the flashers up. Long-term solution, I mean, I don't know that there's any way that we could just say, hey, listen, there's no through traffic from Eagle Rock or Harrison. I just don't know that there's any way legally to get away with something like that. It is a big issue. Lately, it's come to notice more because the school bus issue is rearing its head, and we've had cars flying by. The police force have, even with the blinkers on and everything else, they fly by. They have put a patrol car out there, and it has made it a little better. But it's scary. If I lived on Lincoln, I have plenty of friends that do. I would be fearful. I'd be very cautious crossing the street. Even when I parked it up somebody else, it's tight. It's scary. So it's a problem. Again, we'll work together to come up with a solution.
Thank you. Mr. Barone?
This is right at my wheelhouse as a professional traffic operations engineer. I used to do this for a living. So yeah, there are a variety of things that you can do. Town can pass an ordinance. There's ultimately what it comes down to is a traffic engineering study. Speed bumps. I remember when there were speed bumps on the street way back when there were those little yellow ones, and they were horrible. Cars were bobbing out when they're hitting them. Right now there's a zero speed sign with a flashing light that tells you how fast you're going. You could also limit turning movements onto the street or from the street based on a traffic engineering study, whether you have a sight distance issue, whether you have appropriate gaps in traffic where cars that are on Harrison Avenue or Eagle Rock Avenue, they don't allow appropriate gaps. I know of a couple instances where I've witnessed traffic accidents there. If there are 5 or more traffic accidents that occur within a 2-year period, you could come up with some type of alternate solution as saying no left turn, prohibit left turns coming off the street onto Eagle Rock or Harrison Avenue, and that'll stop people from doing so. I'm being told to stop, so I'll stop.
Give you a chance to. Okay, thank you. Mr. Nichols?
Yeah, that stuff, it's actually hearing John talk, I guess there's always a way to, I don't know, stop it, but maybe control it. But it's tough to, I think it's gonna be tough to cut it out altogether, but there's definitely ways that, it can be controlled, definitely things we can do, and, we just gotta make sure, we do what's best for everybody, but I think there's definitely a way that, we can control this.
Thank you. Ms. Parati?
Yeah, it's a problem. The biggest issue is that it connects 2 county roads. So that's the biggest issue. And it's very difficult to try and get, a no turn or what have you. We're gonna have to really work more closely with the county because of that issue. We thought of making it a one-way, but you can't do that because it connects the 2 county roads. So they did have speed bumps at one point. They had the borough take them out. We put an officer down there, and that seems to have helped. And I think we've also put a new sign there for the trucks that do go down there. We've increased the fine. They have to show up, the drivers have to show up to court. So we have done things to try and deter traffic down that street. But just having an officer there too sometimes does help. People are gonna get enough tickets, they don't wanna pay $500, they're not gonna go down the street.
Thank you. Anything that anybody wants to add? Okay, good. There are several local businesses that graciously and frequently sponsor town events, but we don't usually see any of the local large law firms or payroll companies as sponsors. How can we get these large businesses more involved in the community? Ms. Brooke?
Mayor Spango, we do get a lot of support from a lot of the businesses in this company. As a matter of fact, our summer concerts are paid by our sponsors in this town, from people in this town. So we do get a large support from the businesses in this town. So, they get sent letters, they're asked to come, we post their names on signs and such, but they do support us tremendously, and I want to thank them all for that.
Mr. Trillo?
No, I agree. Again, companies just like the people help to volunteer. We are seeing a little changing of the guard, and I think with what's going on at Becker Farm and some people moving out and some people moving in, we'll see what we have. But I'm sure Mayor Spangle will be knocking on doors and soliciting as much as he can for the town and building some relationships, because that's what we've done, is build those relationships with not just the community, but also the business owners who don't necessarily live in Roseland, but contribute. I mean, their name is on every rec team jersey that we coach, right? And they come out and they, free pizzas for pizza parties from Reza or La Pizza, or they contribute. They contribute a lot.
Thank you. Mr. Braun?
I'll echo what the current council members are saying as well. I know if I were to be on the council, kind of sit and listen and learn for a little bit before I, go out and start sequestering people, try to drum up funds and everything. But I can say the same thing. There's a lot of people in town who are donating. My neighbor from two houses down from me has got a banner on Fernwood Field. So there's definitely people who are definitely sponsoring and donating in town. So.
Mr. Nichols?
First, I like Gene said, I want to, thank everybody who does, donate and everything. And town really appreciates it. One of the biggest sponsors, helps with the summer concerts. And we're always looking for more, but everybody who does now, we appreciate it. And we'll keep doing our hardest to, support you guys. You support us. We're all about supporting, local businesses and, stuff like that.
The need for rebuttals, okay. Looking at nearby towns, do you see anything that they're doing that you'd love to implement in Roseland? Mr. Nichols?
I gotta say, the council and the mayor right now is doing a great job with everything. I think that we're even doing things before other towns are doing it. They're doing a great job now. Mayor Spangler's doing a great job with it. I think that's, everything they do now is so great that, there's no other towns. Roseland's a great town. Roseland's at the top, and thanks to them. I think pretty soon other towns are going to look and say, look what Roseland's doing.
Thank you. Ms. Brody?
That's a really good question. I think that, like Rob said, I think we are like forerunners, and people are looking to us to take and do things that we've done. So I think we're light years ahead of a lot of the towns, especially, with all our events that we run, our Christmas program, our Roseland Day. So I think we really do a really good job. And we are, like, in New Jersey, what were we, top 12th? We were the 12th. Best community. We were number 12 in New Jersey Magazine, so we're doing something right.
Thank you. Mr. Braun?
I think we're already doing it, but I know during COVID we had a lot of outdoor eateries, a lot of outdoor seating of restaurants and stuff, and a lot of other towns have done it. I absolutely love what Maris is doing right now, how they have the outdoor seating. I drive by it all the time because I'm right around the corner from there, and you drive by there at 6, 7 o'clock at night and it's packed. And it's great, music's blaring and you have people enjoying themselves. And that's what other towns do. You go to Millburn, you go to these other towns that have these awesome downtown areas. Unfortunately, we don't have a big downtown area, but we do have the center. And I would love to see that happen, the other restaurants in the area as well, like Fairchild, things like that, where you have a couple tables, but I'd like to see, families, people going out there enjoying themselves, having a nice dinner at night and stuff like that. Because that's what these towns that have these downtown areas do. Maybe down there we could do the same.
Mr. Trillo?
So I think that we're the best of the bunch. But we are missing turf fields, which every other of the West Essex towns have. So I'm working and dedicated to making sure that we have that, and I know I have support on the council for that. So I'm looking forward to that. And then John brought up a good point. Our town center, I think, could use a little sprucing up. I know the volunteers that help with the decorating and everything else do a great job, but I would love to see, an ice cream shop, a little cafe, and just more of that small town feel that Roseland's all about. We're small town America, and we're happy about being small town America. So I think if we could get a little more foot traffic going through town center, like John mentioned, I think we were great. I think we did a nice job sprucing it up with the hometown hero banners.
Oh, they look
I
great.
think that was a nice touch, and anything else that we could do to add to that ambiance of, you know, small town America would be great.
Anything else to add from anyone?
Yeah, Moose just brought it up about the banners. You know, that's such a great thing. You know, it's the little things that Roseland does that nobody else does. And I want to make sure I'm a part of that. You know, for the future, you know, it's the little things. You know, little things make, you know, people want to come and come back and stay. And that's, you know, we're just, hopefully we can keep doing that.
When Quick Check on Eisenhower Parkway closed, we lost a high-traffic business in Roseland. What would you like to see go there? Mr. Trillo.
The Wawa. I'd love to see like a Trader Joe's or something like that, but that was my coffee spot in the morning. That was my lottery ticket spot. So I miss it dearly. But Exxon's benefited from it quite a bit. So I see Jack over there quite a bit. But I would think another type of similar convenience store, sub shop. You know, I think that would make the most sense. Coffee place, something along those lines.
Mr. Brown.
I'll 100% echo Wawa as well. I know that they're in Montville. I'm reviewing plans that they're building one right now at the old Palmer dealership over there on Changers Road and 46, which is less than a mile away from the one that's right off on New Road off 280. So if they could put two Wawas that close to each other over there, there's no reason why they can't get one in our town as well. Again, if they want to, you know, but that's ideally, you know, a perfect convenience store. It's right off 280. You get a lot of traffic there. Unfortunately, Quick Check closed down, but you know, they'd see something similar back there.
Mr. Nichols.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think of that, but Wawa would be great. Just something like Councilman Trillo said, something that, you know, a lot of foot traffic, you know, you who's there every morning. I mean, you see people, the same people every morning. Something like that, something that, you know, a coffee shop, whatever it may be, something that, you know, you see the residents you know, you see your friends come in. Yeah, if anybody from Wawa's listening, that'd be great.
Ms. Bryan.
I think something like okay, I'm gonna go off the bat here. I like a little Trader Joe's, like a convenience store, some kind of a foodie store, you know, get stuff like that. So I'm not opposed to a Wawa because I do like the coffee, but I'd like to see like a Trader Joe's or some kind of convenience store like that.
Anything else to add from anyone? Okay. Where do you all stand on the sale of marijuana in Roseland? Ms. Brady.
Well, I have to tell you that I am totally against that, and we passed an ordinance for it. So there's plenty of communities that sell it, that are larger communities that aren't far from us. So I have to say I am against the sale of it, the sale and the growth of it in Roseland.
Mr. Trillo.
Yeah, be equally opposed. Go to Montclair. Go wherever else you want to go. There's no need for that kind of store in Roseland. I'm not opposed to necessarily them doing what they want to do in Montclair or wherever else they're going to do it, but I don't think it's something that belongs in a small town.
Mr. Braun.
Same, I guess I'm against it. I'm not an expert on the subject, but I mean, I just question whether any tax revenue would come to the town or not, and if it's beneficial or not. If it's not, then obviously there's no reason to have it in town. But yeah, like you said, there's towns neighboring in the area that who's gonna come drive to Roseland to go to buy that here when they could go to Montclair, the trendy hipster towns that are in the neighboring communities. So.
Mr. Nick.
No, yeah, I'm against it. The ordinance was put in for a reason, and it was a good reason. Like everybody was saying, it's in the surrounding towns, no need for that, in Roseland. But if you want to go anywhere else, that's before it. But Roseland is, this town. We want to keep it the way it is, and there's just, no reason to have it. Like Gene said, being sold or being grown in Roseland.
Thank you. I think you're all in agreement on that one too. We've come to the end of the prepared questions that have been submitted in advance from the public, so I'll just invite our audience here if anybody has any questions that they want to pose to the candidates. Okay. So I think we can move to closing statements now, 2-minute closing statements. So we'll go in reverse order of how we started. So Mr. Trillo.
If you're listening, thank you for tuning in and watching. I hope you got some information out of the video if you watched it. The good news is you have 4 good people trying to help out in Roseland. So we're going to be in good hands no matter what happens November 7th? 8th. No matter what happens November 8th, Roseland's going to be in good hands. We have good people in this town. We have good people on the council. No matter which way it falls, I'm going to be a part of this town one way or the other. So maybe I might not be up on this dais, but I'll be coaching the way I was coaching before, and I'll be at board meetings and Board of Ed meetings, and I'm sure we're all in this together. So come out and vote, express yourself, be a part of the town in whatever capacity you see fit. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Parati.
I want to thank everyone for being here tonight and for video. I want to thank the Progress and the League of Women Voters. It was a pleasure to be here tonight. Like Councilman Trillo said, no matter what happens, I've been involved for the past 33 years and I'm going to be involved for the next 33 years, whether I sit up here or not. I do enjoy being on the council. I do enjoy making the good decisions for the community. So I just want everybody to get out and vote November 8th. Let everybody hear what you want.
Mr. Nichols.
Yeah, they both said great, and like, who said that, and Gene said it too, no matter what happens, I'm still gonna be volunteering in the town. Who said, we got 4 great people up here, whatever happens, I know that whoever wins will do the best for the town. Everybody here has the same vision, to make the town strong. And yeah, so just go out, vote November 8th, and appreciate your time, and thank you for putting this together, and thank you for everybody who came and everybody who's watching.
Mr. Brown.
Thank you for everybody for coming. Like I said, I'm a 14-year resident here. I have 3 kids that go to Noecker. I've volunteered, and regardless of what happens, I'm still going to be volunteering. I can't volunteer and coach one of my kids' teams and not the other one, so the rec department's got me for the foreseeable future. With regards to, I guess I'm going to talk about my own personal agenda, I guess, here. As a professional engineer, the one thing that always struck me, and I've spoken to Mayor Sanago about this, is how our town is kind of divided. I used to live on the east side of town, and during COVID, everybody started walking in town, and I noticed it more and more. Eagle Rock Avenue is a county road, and there's no sidewalk from West Orange and Pleasant Valley Way, Pleasantdale area, West Orange, all the way through the town center of Roseland. Sidewalk doesn't exist. There's people that walk on that street all the time. I used to walk it as well. I rode my bike there. It's dangerous. I would love to petition the county to get a sidewalk in there. I know it's an issue. I know it's going to be an issue for the residents that live on the county road, because they're not going to want to be responsible for maintaining a sidewalk and shoveling the snow, things like that. But it's a huge benefit to the entire town if that were to get put in. Property value will go up for everybody that's on the east end of town if they can walk in the center of town. So I can totally see that being a huge benefit to the town. So that's kind of one of my own personal things that I've wanted for years. So I don't even live on that side of town anymore, but again, I was there and I witnessed it, so I'll end with that. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, candidates, for participating tonight and letting the voters know your stand on the position on the questions that they submitted for this, and I certainly wish you the best of luck. Thank you to Kathy Swift and the staff of the Progress for sponsoring this. Thank you to the audience for attending and being active participants in the democratic process. And of course, I'm from the League, so I have to say, remember to make your vote count. Vote in the election on November 8th. You can go to the polls. You can use a mail-in ballot. You can vote early in person starting the weekend before the election. But whatever you do, however method you choose, please do vote. And thank you very much, and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.